short. Well, let me make sure it's live first. It says it is, but I had to watch that counter, make sure. Short and sweet. We are live with Mike Barron for one, and hopefully Kelsey Shannon will be joining us to talk Nexus, comics, and all kinds of things. So let's get going. Mike, I did see your thing there. MikeBarron.com, right?
MikeBarron.com. No.
No.
Well, as you know, Rex, we're in the middle of a campaign for a graphic novel, Scourge, Nexus Scourge, that Kelsey illustrated. It's done. It's ready to go to the printer. It's one of the best Nexus stories I've ever done. People wonder, do they have to be familiar with the whole body of work before they enjoy this story? Absolutely not. I design every comic that I write to be a complete story in and of itself and to be entertaining in and of itself. There's not a wasted word or a wasted panel. Everything in that comic is planned to entertain you. Well, how do you entertain somebody? There are a million ways. I don't want to get into that right now, but I will in a little bit. If you wouldn't mind playing the video.
Okay. Off of the site you sent me?
BarronComics.com.
Okay, let me bring it back up because I deleted it there. I thought I did a boo-boo. Did I need to take that off of there?
I don't know.
Okay, well, I deleted the one on Twitch is still up, but Hex Allen joining us saying hello.
Hey, Hex.
Okay, let me bring that back up, Mike. Just a second. It's the internet. Things don't
often go as planned. I know.
They don't disappear. Yeah. They just kind of, okay, let me get in here.
They vex me. They're very vexatious.
All right. I just subbed. I signed up for notifications. It threw that at me first. We'll get there. All right, here we go.
Steve Rude. All right.
No, go ahead. What about please. Steve Rude?
Nothing. Just killing time.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you're learning. Shadowhawk, hello. All right, here is the trailer from Nexus Scourge. Did I say that right?
Sorta.
An ancient evil, billions of years old, wages war on the universe. Entire star systems are vanishing without a trace, leaving devastation in their wake. Nexus, the intergalactic guardian of lost souls, must stop the unnameable terror and its expanding scourge of destruction. The totality of everything in existence will collapse upon itself if he fails. With the fate of the cosmos in the balance, Nexus must confront his most dangerous adversary yet. Can he save creation from total and certain destruction, or will darkness reign supreme? Find out in Nexus Scourge, the all-new epic sci-fi adventure from Eisner-winning co-creator Mike Barron, exploding with Kelsey Shannon's dynamic artwork. Available now at BarronComics.com.
Thanks, Rex.
You're welcome. Thank you, Mike, for sharing.
It gives you a glimpse of Kelsey's dynamic artwork. Many artists have drawn Nexus over the years, including Mike Mignola, Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. That's Kelsey did that, and that's going to be part of a graphic novel we're going to issue next year. That's going to be 3 times that size. Paul Smith is probably my favorite non-dude penciler until Kelsey came along and showed everybody how to do it. his artwork is dynamic and beautiful and clear storytelling. As I said before, there are no wasted parts in any comic I have done in the last 20 years. And by that I mean you don't pause in the moment of the comic saying, what's going on? This looks like we're just treading water here. No, everything is designed to be part of the story. Well, what constitutes story? It's very complex. So much constitutes story that All right, I'm going to give just an example.
Okay.
These are the first three things that are most obvious about what makes a story compelling. One is a compelling character, Sherlock Holmes. Number two is a compelling situation, Jurassic Park. And number three is a seductive narrative voice. Now, that's more difficult to do visually than it is in a novel, but you can do it. And I point to Alan Moore and Neil Gaiman as examples. I try to do it myself, but I try to be invisible. When I write a comic, I don't want the reader to be aware that it's a work of artifice. I do everything I can to make it real so that the reader enters into the story to the exclusion of all else and resents when anybody interrupts him and says, excuse me, Mac, what do you want for dinner? Don't bother me, I'm reading this comic. That's what I try to do. And I have a lot of ways to do it. But part of my philosophy is a story has to take itself seriously before the reader can take it seriously. And
Wow.
I every story seriously, even Florida Man versus Hogzilla, which, by the way, is going to be in the shops. It's been broken up. The latest Florida graphic novel has been broken up into 3 floppies that American Mythology is issuing. It's going to be in stores in July. I urge you to call your comic shop now and order it. The only purpose of Florida Man is to make you laugh out loud, and it will do that. But back to Nexus.
Now, is it in the tube? Is it like toothpaste? I mean, do you just extrude the story out pretty much in the last 20 years, or do you sort of first draft prune it? Do you do any pruning?
Well, I write a story very carefully. There's a process which begins with me making notes in a tablet. I carry a tablet and pen with me at all times. I urge everybody to do so, whether you're a creator or not. When you write something down by hand, it fixes it in the mind a lot more effectively than if you type it into a machine. And once I have achieved what I call critical mass, where I have enough notes and enough concepts and names and bits of dialogue, I see the story itself taking place. And when that happens, I proceed to an outline. And the purpose of the outline is to excite interest in the reader. It's not just for me. I want to hand that outline to anybody and have them read it and say, holy shit, where do I get the book? I got to read this.
Is that like a underpinning your foundation for the story?
It's just a process I go through that I've learned to do the hard way. I did not used to do outlines. In fact, for 20 years, I wrote comics by sitting down, drawing a page on a tablet, drawing the first panel, putting everything in there that I thought I needed, and then proceeding to the next panel. I didn't plan ahead. Although in the back of my mind, I always had dramatic structure. A story is a dynamic narrative with a beginning, a middle, and an end. And there are certain repeating themes that I fall back on. For one thing, my characters are heroes. They may be anti-heroes, but they're not villains. And one of the rules of storytelling is that good is rewarded and evil is punished. Now, those are not hard and fast rules, and there are exceptions where some of the greatest heroes die at the end. And the example I always think of is Spartacus, when he's hanging on the cross on the Appian Way at the end of the movie, and he's dying, and his wife rides by in a cart and holds up his child for him to see. So he knows that his line will live on and he won't be forgotten.
Right.
and the bad guys always get it. I mean, that's one of the rules of storytelling, especially in Nexus, which was created to
Well,
punish
you
evil.
in that movie though, you really didn't have to show because we know at least at that time the fall of the Roman Empire does happen, and it was through another person crucified on the cross. They say historically that happened, so they could take liberties, right, and not really have to. You say the bad guys always get it. They really didn't have to tell that part of the story, did they?
No, but I mean, plenty of bad guys get it in that movie.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah. Oh,
C-
definitely. Yeah,
Caesar lives on, but Caesar usually lives on.
yeah, yeah. It's would you say in the early days when you were thumbnailing it out that you were trying to? I know you had, like you said, the concepts, you had everything kind of in your head, but you were was it a visualization so that you could, I mean, did it start with a picture? I know a lot of mine starts with like one scene and then I can take that and extrapolate on it.
Yeah, I worked for years to become an artist. I did not become an artist, but I'm a good enough artist that you can tell what I'm drawing.
You can convey your concept to some other person.
That's right. And when I put it down on a page, I do each panel out with whatever it required: a spaceship, an army, a man crossing a river, a close up, very few close ups, uh, and all the dialogue that the final comic would have, and all the captions as well as a few directions for the artist. And I wasn't married to this. I would change things when I felt it would improve the story. Artists and editors loved it because they could tell at a glance what I was doing. They didn't have to wade through a thick compendium of directions. I've seen scripts that were unreadable. I'll never forget, I was at Steve Rude's house one day, and he's working on a script for a very popular creator who is mostly an artist. And he said, "You want to see a piece of shit? You want to see a piece of shit?" And picked up a wad of papers that were like 2 inches thick. And he threw it against the wall, splat, pages everywhere. Because whoever had written it, and I know who wrote it, whoever had written it so densely and in such infinite detail and unnecessary detail that it had become a chore to go through it and figure out what he was supposed to draw.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I don't draw pages out by hand anymore. I will draw if it becomes necessary and the artist requests it. If it's the only way to convey that information, I often do that for fight scenes because my fight scenes are very specific and they're tightly choreographed. They're not just a big fist waving around and 4 pairs of feet flying off panel. The fight scenes have to be entertaining in and of themselves. Oh, what makes a fight scene? It's seeing the technique, especially a new technique you've never seen before, unfold before you and how it works and the details of balance and pressure points and joint locks. Those are the things that make a fight memorable. In my fight scenes, very, very rarely do the combatants carry on a dialogue because in real life,
Yeah.
when you're fighting someone, you don't talk. You don't have breath to talk.
Right. And you're telling enough, right, with the art at that point and the sound effects, I guess, depending on how knockdown, drag out superhero it is.
Yeah. The sound effects are subdued and subtle when you're having hand-to-hand combat. You may get a smack or bop here and there, but you don't get whoosh and screech and my favorite Shrek.
Yeah, the sound effects, Mike, are key, aren't they? I mean, they're kind of the hardest thing because you're dealing with you're dealing with sounds, right? And
Well,
you want to kind of get
they're
that
hardly
correct,
the
don't you?
hardest part. They're hardly the hardest part.
Yeah.
They're easy for me. I mean, the hardest part
Okay.
is to make every page pop and sizzle, is to make
Right.
every panel crack and carry the story forward.
Uh-huh.
And one thing I learned when I was drawing each page out by hand, well, there are so many things I learned. One thing was I understood how much weight each page could bear, and by that I mean how many panels could I put on the page? How many words? Did it impede the story or did it facilitate the story? It also taught me when to open up the page for a larger image or to tighten up when there's a dialogue. But if you have a dialogue, if you have some talking heads, the dialogue itself must be interesting and entertaining. There could be no dead places. But most importantly, it taught me to think about what happens next. That's the essential question in all fiction. What happens next? Because if the reader doesn't care, he's not going to turn the page. Well, how do you make the reader care? As I said, there are a million ways. Number one, a fascinating character, Sherlock Holmes. Number two, a fascinating situation, Jurassic Park. And number three is seductive narrative voice.
Now, talk a little bit more about that seductive narrative voice.
Well, in that case, I'm looking at Garth Ennis comics, and he uses a lot of silence, and punctuated here and there by short answers, and that's unique to Garth Ennis. So you can tell you're reading a Garth Ennis book. And I would certainly prefer a lot of silence to a lot of babbling words that don't mean anything. And I think, though, we've all opened up a comic and we've seen 500 words in 8 caption boxes covering up the artwork, and the eyes just glaze over, because that's not what a comic should be. A comic should be read. You should enter into that story to the exclusion of all else. As I said, the story must take itself seriously before the reader takes it seriously. Ideally, when I write a story, I want to immerse the reader completely in the story to the exclusion of all else. And I think I've done that with Scourge. I'm happy with it. In fact, I think it's one of the best stories. The challenge is to top myself. And that was easy for me to do because I haven't written that much Nexus in recent years. There hasn't been a regular book. But now I'm getting back into it. One of the reasons is, of course, Richard Meyer commissioned Kelsey and me to do a 3-issue Nexus series that he was going to offer through Splato. Now, you just held up the first issue.
Right.
And I saw that, and I realized that Kelsey had been born to draw Nexus. So
were there others? Were there 2 others?
There are 2 other stories that he's working on, but they're not really 2 stories. They're all part of a massive graphic novel.
But they're not going to come out through Splato, the others.
Well, no, we're going to publish them. Richard looked at what I was doing in crowdfunding. He said, Mike, you better take control of this. It's your baby. I think you'd do a better job than I would. So the story that Kelsey did the first installment of is called Triplets, and there are 2 other chapters coming, but realistically speaking, it's one story. It's 66 pages long, and we're going to offer that next year. But Scourge comes first. Scourge was written in a burst of enthusiasm and understanding, and it came about because I asked myself, what is the ultimate evil? And because you got to keep topping yourself when Nexus goes after mass murderers. Does he go by body count? I mean, if a guy kills 12 people, is he a less important killer than somebody who kills 12,000? What about somebody who kills 12 million? Well, these are things you have to think about.
Yeah.
Scourge is not a person. It's an ancient evil intelligence that predates civilization, and that's key to the story and who it is.
That's what blew me away about the concept, the Hebrew concept, when I studied the Hebrew language in college, was their concept of murder. That you not only kill that person, but his lineage on down the line, his potential for a whole lineage. And so the emphasis on murder is much more than what we kind of have in present day concept for the Western hemisphere.
That's fascinating, Rex. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And so they take it, not necessarily killing, but murder as, much more total thing. The total you've cut off, kind of like when they talk about Christ, in Isaiah in the Old Testament, his generation was cut short so that, others, it just talks about his generation being cut short, alluding to the crucifixion, that Christ's life was cut short. it's an interesting concept, you know.
It is, and it's valid story material.
Yeah,
Of
yeah,
course, I have always looked to history and to current events for inspiration, and anybody who's read Nexus knows that, and they will recognize evil systems that were real, that I've adapted for Nexus purposes and put into Nexus world, uh, modeled on the Nazis, modeled on the communists,
yeah,
modeled on nihilists, modeled on religious fanatics. We've done them all. Uh, and the key is to keep it fresh, keep it interesting. There's an old theory that there are only 7 plots in all fiction. You know, man loves girl, man loses girl, man wins girl back, and some others, and that everything else is a variation on these
yeah.
7 plots. Some say 6, some say 14, but that comes down. It doesn't deter us from enjoying the storytellers we love the most, because a good storyteller is going to grab you by the throat and drag you into the narrative to the exclusion of all else. And that's what I try to do. And I think I'm doing it. And I think Scourge is one of the most successful examples of that. That when you read it, you're going to be totally absorbed. You're not going to be thinking about what's for dinner.
Do you think if you have like a thing like War and Peace, it might be more effective if it was chopped up into more floppy form? Well, I'm saying that I cried at a storyline out of a comic, and that was the death of the Phoenix. But it was a slow build over 3 or 4 years by Chris Claremont. But when she sacrificed herself, I actually cried. I've talked to others who read that. And I was, at that point, I was high school age, you know, freshman or sophomore. I was about, I don't know, 16, 17, somewhere in there. And, but I cried, Mike. It's showing that you can really touch somebody with a story. But I've got to say, I was invested in the characters, and that was a slow build. Like I said, he had been building up to that payoff for 2 years at least. And it's, I think, become one of the iconic runs in comics, really, in those X-Men years. He had a wonderful, you had Chris Claremont writing, and you had someone that could convey everything that he was putting down in a very dynamic and effective manner, being John Byrne and Terry Austin. Um,
I agree with you. And I felt the same way about The Death of Captain Marvel by Jim Starlin.
yeah.
That moved me.
Oh, with the cancer. Yeah, in the graphic novel. I've got
Yeah.
that back here. Yeah. It's that boom. If you were going to do a first sort of Marvel graphic novel, that was one that started off. I'm glad you mentioned Jim Starlin, because that's what attracted me to Marvel. Uh, you know, and I mean later, you know, as I got into comics, and it was first George Perez, but also artists like Jim Starlin that could, and he kind of came out of fanzines and stuff. Didn't know that at the time, but he always seemed to hit the big cosmic stories, get the very
Yep.
big cosmic stories, and that's what I see in Nexus Scourge, Mike, is this kind of Galactus,
I
you
hope so.
know, Jack Kirby Eternals.
Yes.
I mean Celestials. They always dealt with the bigger concepts, I thought, over DC Comics. What do you think?
Uh, well, I have to admit that we have drawn inspiration from those books. Years ago, a dude asked me, "What's the ultimate Nexus story?" And without thinking, I said Nexus versus Galactus. But we don't own Galactus. But you can't copyright an idea, so we created our own, and we call him Gormando. And he has now appeared, including Scourge. He's appeared in 2 Nexus stories I've done. He was also in Monster Hunt 2, which came out a couple years ago, and that's where Nexus teams up with Lone Star and Bigfoot Bill. And he's very effective in that. It's a serious story, although the characters are lighthearted and there's a lot of humor in it. But ultimately, it comes down to, will the Earth survive? Will Gormando destroy the Earth? Because he
Hmm.
shows up and he closes in, and Gormando weighs far more than the Earth. He's far denser. He's far bigger. And as he approaches, he affects the tides, and all
Oh
the
yeah.
waters rush out toward him. and he affects the weather. And the closer he comes, the more natural disasters occur. But I don't use him that way in Scourge. You have to read Scourge to see how I use him, which is something new, I think, that's never been done before. But you'll see it in the story.
So is it linked with triplets?
No.
No.
Although I think that Gormando appears in triplets as well. He appears in triplets in the same role that he appears in Scourge, but you'll have to read it to understand the role. And I guarantee you're going to love it.
Well, I said, about War and Peace, would it be more effective? And what I mean is like Ride the High Country. Okay.
One of my favorite movies.
Sam Peckinpah, wonderful movie. And he's not afraid, like you say, to pause on the moment. And modern viewers may go, huh? Because we are so fast paced now. As you know, they would go, that movie was so slow.
Oh, well, I don't think it's slow.
I don't think it's slow at all. I think it's a masterpiece. You've got Randolph Scott, you've got two
Joel McRae.
You've got two older actors in the twilight, really, of their profession, and seasoned professionals.
That's a recurring theme with Peckinpah: the death of the West, and where do the outlaws go? And I think The Wild Bunch is his masterpiece on that topic.
Yeah, and Tom Horn, which was not one of his movies, but one of Steve McQueen's latter movies, was about the death of the West, kind of, in theme.
It's a familiar theme.
Yeah, and he's not afraid to pause on the moment, though, and I think we've kind of missed that. And that's why I say about War and Peace, would it be better if we chopped it up, kind of like Claremont did in X-Men? Well, huh?
I'm laughing. I have not read War and Peace. I know it's massive, though.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You were talking about dialogue. I've been looking at old EC books like the Two-Fisted Tales, war stuff, and we've been kind of looking at the artwork and the story. And what they would do, Mike, is they would letter it first, very wordy, and that's what I'm trying to tie in here with the pacing. As time goes by, they would letter it first and then give it to the artist, and the artist had to work around and should word balloons be on covers anymore? Just wondering.
Though that's not my method. As you know, comics are a visual medium, and the second rule of creating comics is show, don't tell. And that means any information you can impart to the reader visually that advances the story without words, you should. And that doesn't mean a comic should be without words. Words are very important in a comic. But they have to count. You have to dole your words out like gold coins and put them where they're going to have the most impact. I use words primarily as characterization. I want my dialogue to be fresh and entertaining, but also to advance the plot from time to time. When somebody's explaining what they're going to do, you can't get away from that completely. Every episode of Better Call Saul often began with a 5-minute wordless sequence where you start following Mike Ehrmantraut about, and you wonder what he's up to as he sneaks into a big industrial building, and he sneaks into the locker room, and he steals an ID card that he hangs around his neck, and then he goes back outside and he re-enters and they let him in, and you say, oh, I see what's happening now. I try to do that a lot. But again, words are important, and
yet 90% of it's crap, right?
Well, that's true, because a lot of people don't understand the form. They see a panel and they think, oh, here's a panel. I better stick a word in there. I better put in a word balloon, have some idle chatter, and all those stupid fight scenes where people are ripping on each other while they're bashing each other over the head. You can't enter into that and enjoy it because, as I said, the story is not taking itself seriously. A story that takes itself seriously, when you have a fight occurring, they're not talking to each other, unless it's Nate Diaz.
Well, that's another point I wanted to make was cinema shows us that very clearly that even in so many scenarios especially TV shows, if you play it seriously, even though the props may be like Doctor Who, or it's I could give example after example, Star Trek sometimes, uh, if if you don't play it seriously, nobody's going to believe it. It's going to become uh, pantomime at that time. At that point, it's going to be a send up. And but if you play it, believe it, and earnestly, you can kind of sell it to people, right?
If story has to take itself seriously before the readers will take it seriously. I was looking forward to Cocaine Bear. I thought
Yeah,
that was going to be a great movie and scare the hell out of me because
right.
it's based on reality, and the concept of a bear high on cocaine ripping people apart and being a terror appealed to me. And then I watched it, and it was supposed to be a humorous horror movie, and it was neither funny nor scary, and that's what
There
happens.
there are writers that kind of defy classification. Now, I'm going to give an example. I don't know if he falls into that, but I want to see what you think about Douglas Adams that did Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Did you ever read that?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
But
Well, he
I'm thinking of geez, oh man, I'm drawing a blank here. The guy that directed Rosemary's Baby.
Oh, wow. Now that was oh gosh, yeah. He's actually up on sex charges and can't come back to
Yeah, he hasn't
America.
been back to the U.S. in years, but he did a
Yeah.
movie called The Fearless Vampire Hunters, and that
Yeah.
succeeds in being both funny and scary. Roman
Yes.
Polanski.
Roman Polanski. Exact. Yeah. Uh, yeah, France almost extradited him a couple of years ago. I thought it was funny. I was hoping they would actually. He kind of slipped through the knot on that one. He, you know, he's done some wonderful, things in the past. I think
I
he
know
also,
you have to separate the artist from the art
I
in order
guess,
to enjoy them. His movie, The Pianist,
yeah,
uh, I think
uh,
is a masterpiece.
yeah. Uh, I would be interested, Doug. I mean, Mike, for you to read Douglas Adams and tell me what you think. It may
Uh,
be just,
I'll
you
put
know,
it on the list, Rex. Like you,
okay.
I have 85 books circling my bed like planes trying to land at O'Hare.
Now, are any of those comics and I'm very curious, Mike. You don't go comic hunting, do you?
No, I very
Spelunking.
rarely read comics. I read the comics my friends send me. Those are the
Okay.
comics I
Well,
read.
I'm going to send you Devil Flyer when it comes out because I want
All
an
right.
honest opinion. You can
Okay.
rip into me like a badger. Speaking of badger, okay. See how I worked that in there? Now, oh, before I forget it, it should be organic, right? The way you kind of tell a story. Is that the way you kind
Absolutely.
of look at it?
Absolutely.
It
That's one of the
seemed
most important
natural, just kind
rules.
of slide into it like a
That's right.
morning, like a putting your socks on.
Right. If you have something clever to say, you hold it. You hold it until you reach a point in the story where you say, right here, it's natural that he would say that right here. And
Hmm.
that's when it comes up. And I have a lot of things I want to do in a story, plot points, dialogue. The trick is not to force them, but to construct a narrative where they can rise naturally to the moment. And the perfect ending of a story should come as both a complete surprise and, in retrospect, inevitable. And I always think of Planet of the Apes, the original, when Charlton Heston and his girlfriend are going up the shore and they see the Statue of Liberty buried up to her waist. And he says, "It's Earth." Of course it was Earth. But, they had me fooled the whole time until they got there.
Yeah.
And I think I pulled that off in Scourge. And I think I pulled that off in most of the stories I've done recently,
And
except
just
for,
you saying buried up to her waistline in sand, that says something that just your words brought the meaning, some meaning to that, just visually, that liberty has been buried in a way.
in a way, yeah, it's an
Yeah.
analogy. But that story takes the world that they inhabit takes place so far in the future that humanity, such as it is, has descended to the level of apes, and they're not even intelligent anymore. So
Right.
history doesn't even enter into it. Whether this could happen, we don't know, but I'm sure it's possible. I mean, when you look at the nuclear clock, we are closer now to annihilation than we have ever been at any point in the history of the world.
Yeah, and you see, you sort of like the analogy of Nero fiddling on the roof as Rome burns. I think there's a lot of people fiddling right now, the Mike. They're
Well,
oblivious to
I
the
agree with
danger
you.
we're
I
in.
agree with you. I think that our country has been taken over by vicious, frivolous children who
Yeah.
have no idea, have no understanding of anything. I think if you would go through Congress and ask every representative, have you read the Constitution or the Bill of Rights? I think that maybe 2% have read it. They're not serious people. The founding
Right.
fathers were serious people. They never imagined career
It's like a loaded
politicians.
gun in a toddler's hands.
That's right.
It's well, it's the old adage, that Stan Lee wrote in Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility, and we have squandered that. We have
Well, you and
flaunted
I
that,
haven't
and
squandered it, Rex. Is
well,
what
no,
happens is that there are sociopaths who will do anything for power, anything, and
yeah,
that's how they've seized control
yeah.
because they have no
Now
qualms.
we mentioned Badger. How close is that project? How many irons do you have in the fire, Mike, right now?
I got plenty. There is a Badger script. It's written. It's great. I have a world-class artist working on it. We're not going to get to it until next year, but the title is Badger Beats the Devil, and that should give you a clue as to what it's about.
What's the secret? Is it just consistency? What's the secret of getting people to read your material?
You tell a gripping story, good
Yeah.
art.
And then how hopefully they like that and just come back for more.
Yeah, just like you and me and our favorite novelists who say, I just finished a Michael Connolly book and I couldn't put it down. I thought, well, this guy can make anything entertaining because he's talking about courtroom proceedings, and so I got another
Yeah.
one, and there are a number of authors that I enjoy like that. Another one's Stephen Hunter, who created the Shooter series, and
Mhm.
he's got two heroes he's created.
Hey,
But
Carrie.
I could also name six artists, six writers that are brilliant. They just were great writers that never made it big. They just were mid-list authors, and they were unable to make a serious living at it. This is not a fair world out there. You know how many novels are published in the U.S. every year? 1 million.
Yeah.
A
Yeah, I
lot
mean,
of them are
there's
a lot of them are self-published, right, by guys that say, I want to write a book, I want to be a writer. So they write the book and then they publish it themselves. And most of them are pretty bad. That's
if you
Sturgeon's law.
if you read if you write the next War and Peace or whatever, I just use that as an example because there is a big, I just wonder if big writings are more effective if unless they're engaging. I mean, does length matter? I mean, when it
Have
comes to
you have
writing,
you read have you read War and Peace?
I have not. It's, it's long. I would think that just the size, because we're not now, back in when it was written and we were more of a society that read, when even comics was selling in the millions, uh people read more, Mike. They don't read as much. We're in a dumbed down society.
That's for
Uh
sure.
yeah. And
One of the
so
reasons for that nobody ever discusses is video games. We have a
right.
whole generation of kids here that just don't read. They'd
Mhm.
rather play video games. And frankly, I don't blame them. A good video game is far more entertaining than a $5 corporate comic.
I agree, and there's I believe that a lot of the younger generation does not know anything about critical thinking whatsoever.
That's right. They're not taught
And
that.
it's not being taught, and we're paying our teachers, our instructors, to teach that, and it's more about the symptoms and about cultural issues than it is about what is truly important. I almost, you can't help but think it's a psyops, uh,
Well,
because
it
there
is
are,
in a way. In a way, it is. In
yeah.
a way, evil people have taken over the world. And if I may be so bold, I'm going to point to Elizabeth Nixon. She has a Substack column called "Welcome to Absurdistan." I have a Substack
I
column
love
too.
that.
Mike Barron,
Absurdistan.
but Elizabeth Nixon's is called "Welcome to Absurdistan." Her
Hmm.
last name is spelled Nickson, and I think she's one of the bravest and most incisive writers working today. And her columns are savage in laying out what's happened to the world.
Yeah, we need more of that. Is it like when you write Badger, and certainly Badger probably has, the Lois Lanes, the secondary characters, right, as well in his world. That's part of establishing the character, or the other around him. Is
Yeah.
it easier to write like Nexus Scourge, and which, I don't know yet the big cosmic part of that, but I mean, he's got his ensemble that you've created over the last 40 years for him. But is it easier to write something like that than, say, the Avengers or X-Men, where you have a
Well,
lot of
I wouldn't
characters?
know. I wouldn't know. I've never read the Avengers or X-Men. All I know is that each story presents its own challenges, and it becomes easy when you know what's going on, when you have figured out what happens next. And lately, I've just been on a run. I don't think I've written anything bad in the last 10 years, and I think my writing is getting better. And I'm very excited for readers to discover this. And if you ask anybody who's read any of my recent offerings, Thin Blue Line, Private American, Bronze Star, they will tell you, yeah, this stuff rocks, give us more. And so we're working on sequels to all of those. In fact,
Mhm.
Pat Broderick is about 10 pages into the new Bronze Star.
Carrie, I did stream yesterday. It was extremely short, so you can go back and watch it on the channel. She said she missed me because I didn't stream. I did stream. Uh, it was just very short. Some days are like that, Mike. Sometimes you feel like getting up in the morning, right? But you got to battle on through. That's being mature and adult and being disciplined, right?
That's
Uh,
right.
we used to be we used to like to flex and be the John Waynes and be tough guys,
Ah,
and have some pride, right, in this country. But it just seems like the more I see on the news, it's crazy out there. It is absolutely loony to where it's filtering down to where everybody's coming out of the closet with their craziness. It's a
well,
very
I don't
dangerous
think
place
so.
to be.
I think that the media, which I call the lick spittle,
Mhm,
focuses on things that are bad because if it bleeds, it leads. That's one of the oldest sayings in journalism. And
mhm,
we're seeing many of our hallowed institutions reach the breaking point, and they can no longer be taken seriously, like Ivy League colleges, for example. But parents are seeing this too, and they say, no way am I going to pay $100,000, send my kid to that college so he can have a sex change operation and worry about global warming and stuff. And the guys who have graduated there, the successful businessmen, are saying, I'm not going to give you another dime for your endowment because you've descended into silliness, not just silliness, but vicious silliness. So the
yeah.
universities are at a breaking point now, and I think there's a good chance they may not survive. And
Peer
I say that's a
pressure
good thing. Let them die.
peer pressure or corporate pressure's a thing, isn't it? I mean,
Also,
they're
oh, that's
higher up.
true. And as
Yeah.
to a lot of serious law firms that have been entertaining resumes from students at these Ivy League colleges have said, if we saw you at any of these demonstrations, don't even bother to apply. Do not come in. And for those of you who have been promised interviews, forget it. You're not going to get a job with us. You're not serious people.
Mhm. What I meant about the Avengers thing or Fantastic Four, something like, are multiple characters harder to write and to kind of, because you've got to kind of
Oh,
develop each one individually, don't you?
well, yeah, but nothing is harder or less harder than anything else, unless you're struggling for what happens next.
Okay.
But usually I have that in hand, and any writer, any serious writer who succeeds knows that if you create a fully rounded character, whether he has one personality or seven, at some point that person is going to turn around and tell you what he's going to do next.
And you really don't want to go against type, because that kind of breaks the fourth wall, doesn't it? Breaks the illusion of a story.
You don't want to break the fourth law, and that happens when Batman turns to the reader and says, "Are you enjoying this? Do you think I'm doing a good job?" And of course that breaks everything. It destroys the illusion of reality.
Aren't they doing that, in not to get really into the political mire of the thing or what's going on, but I mean, when you take a character that chased like Iceman, he always chased skirts, and all of a sudden he's homosexual. That where was the buildup? Where was the payoff in that? I don't, it's going against type. That kind of takes you out of the character altogether, doesn't it?
I
Or you're
wouldn't
going
know.
for a different
I wouldn't know.
demographic, I guess.
I have not read Iceman, but
Yeah.
that brings us to the first rule of comic writing, and that is it's my job to entertain. And I never lose sight of that. Every part of the story must be entertaining. And that's why people go to the movies and read books and buy comics, because they want to be entertained. They want to enter into a story that's thrilling or heartfelt or sentimental, that they can believe in and root for the good guys and hiss the bad guys. And to do that, a story must take itself seriously, and that also alludes to consistency of the character and the traditions.
So, how do you select what to read next? I mean, does that I mean, on your reading list?
Oh well, I have a few friends that write well, and they send me books, and I'm happy to read them.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Blaine Pardo, I don't know how we hooked up, but Blaine sent me the first of his Blue Dawn series, which is an alternate future story about what happens when the Nazis, or the communists, if you prefer, have taken over the United States, and they do what they always do, which is they create the camps and the trains, and they try to destroy anybody who doesn't think exactly like they do. And that was a good book, very interesting. In fact, Blaine and I have just finished writing a novel called Tenure, about a history professor who uses the wrong pronoun in class, and how events snowball from there and destroy his life.
Braille Image Group Studios. Tell me about this.
Well, I would not be where I am today without Chris Brawley, who's a genius and my life
Or
coach.
Brawley.
In fact, as I'm talking to you right now, Chris
Mm-hmm.
is furiously sending me notes to hold my head up, to not glower, and to hit certain points, which I try to obey. But Chris is also a professional videographer,
Uh-huh.
and that's why our videos are so superior. I mean, we're going to play that Nexus video again before we end this stream, so people
Okay.
can appreciate the professionalism of it, and the effect it has, where it's not just music and moving from image to image. It's a narrative, and the point of that narrative, like the outline, is to make you want to read the book. And I think Chris does that better than anyone I know. And all you have to do is look at any of the videos he's prepared for us, including the first Florida Man video, which is funnier than hell.
So
But you
he's the
get the
one that
idea.
did your trailer for you.
That's right.
Yeah. And did you give him a synopsis to do that by, or whatever? Because it really does
No,
have a scope to it.
I give him the finished story. I mean, he reads the story
Okay.
before he does the trailer.
Okay. All right. So he can pick and choose the elements, yeah. And
Then he runs it by me, and we discuss it. But it's up to Chris to bring it alive,
hey, Doc.
choose the visuals, to find the narrator. And we were lucky to get Sam Elliott to narrate our Bronze Star book, and hopefully Sam will come back for the next one.
Yeah. Yeah. We're going to have to get Pat and hopefully come on here with you and talk some Bronze Star.
I would love to do that, but
I know he's
Pat is
technically
even more technically challenged than me.
Oh, I am too. You know, I had John's long box on the other day, and he asked me a question about my Captain America shield here, and I just finished the answer, and then my computer went into sleep mode. I don't know why, but it took me 40 minutes, and Shadowhawk had to do cover for me for the first 40 minutes of it. But these technical issues happen, storms, all,
That's the story of
but
my
it's not a
life.
good feeling, Mike.
No, I hate it. You know,
Yeah,
if it
yeah,
weren't for my tech whiz, I wouldn't be speaking with you here today.
yeah, yeah. I guess everything's going all right with your dogs, your wife, and your life.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Any conventions, any events coming up?
Well, I'm going to do the Black Hills Comic Con at the end of June, and I will be at the Denver Comic Con for the first time in 15 years in July, because the Rippaverse will be there, and we're going to have a big booth, and we're going to announce a couple of new books, and my book should be out by then, Gooding the Polymath.
All right. Yeah, you've got several books. You got a biker series, all types of stuff out there that people might not be aware of. Where can they go to see that stuff and get that stuff?
Well, I'm on Twitter at Bloody Red Baron. But if you
Okay.
go to Amazon and you just type Mike Baron, most of my books will come up. And as you
Okay.
mentioned, the biker series, the 10th biker novel came out this year, and it features Levon Cade. And the biker series are hard-boiled noir. They're inspired by the work of John D. MacDonald, but Biker is unique in that it takes place in the milieu of biker gangs to a certain extent, although that's probably only 25% of the stories. The thing is that Josh Pratt is in the mode of Philip Marlowe or Sam Spade, a tarnished knight who down these mean streets must go and serve as the court of last resort for people who have been wronged and can't get redress anywhere else. So they hire Josh. He's a private investigator who has his own methods of getting things done.
When I say cartoons, what comes to your mind?
Bugs Bunny, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah. You're a big Donald Duck fan. And the reason I ask that is that Nexus, I don't know till I actually talked to the dude, Steve Rude, that uh what it's sort of like the Space Ghost. And
Big
I,
influence.
yeah, big. I mean, till I saw his actual, and then even interviewed him. He kind of took it for granted that you could see that in there. I never really saw that in Nexus, although I mean, maybe I didn't articulate it, because Nexus has been out a while, and I started with the Capital stuff, the very first issues that came out, and
Which reminds me, we're going to be offering the Origin Remastered, which is the first 3 black and white issues, which were oversized, and
mhm.
they will be colored by Kelsey Shannon, and that's going
Oh
to be
wow,
that's going to be like a 90-page or 100-page book.
yep, yeah. Again, I keep coming back to this, and you're not the only person I ask, because when it comes to the crowdfunding books, I see like Death was like over 300 pages. There's been multiple crowdfunders that's been over 100 pages. I don't know, see what they're trying to do, Mike. It's like, wow, it's all I can do a 48 pager, you know?
Well, if the story is gripping and
Yeah,
exciting and
yeah.
entertaining on every panel of every page, you're not going to care it's 300 pages long. And I can name a handful of books
Mhm.
uh, that have done that for me, that take more than a day to read. And I think that I have a couple coming out that are going to be like that. Scourge is only 48 pages, but it covers a lot of territory.
Is something like Dune, is that it's a classic by now, but is that, I mean, it's densely packed. It's almost like Tolkien, in a regard that you have new terminology, new names. It has its own kind of little lexicon.
Well, that's been turned into several graphic novels written by Kevin J. Anderson, who is
Mhm.
also writing the new Dune stories with Brian Herbert, who's Frank Herbert's son. And Boom publishes those. And although I haven't read them, I've read enough of Kevin's stuff to know that it's first rate. And that if
Back in the
you,
day, I think just today on Twitter, I saw a piece done by Bill Sienkiewicz. He's done some Dune back in the day.
I'm not surprised.
Adapting it. Yeah. But
But my friends, I have to point out that in order for us to produce Nexus: The Origin Remastered, we have to hit our next stretch goal, which is 50 thou. We're very close. We're very close, but we have to hit it. And that depends on the sales of Scourge. Now, I think that
okay.
anybody who watches that trailer is going to see that this book sells itself. If you want an exciting story that sucks you in to the exclusion of all else, this is the book.
Okay, I brought the campaign up. It may run better off of another off your other. So let me just bring that up instead. There we go.
An ancient evil, billions of years old, wages war on the universe. Entire star systems are vanishing without a trace, leaving devastation in their wake. Nexus, the intergalactic guardian of lost souls, must stop the unnameable terror and its expanding scourge of destruction. The totality of everything in existence will collapse upon itself if he fails. With the fate of the cosmos in the balance, Nexus must confront his most dangerous adversary yet. Can he save creation from total and certain destruction, or will darkness reign supreme? Find out in Nexus: Scourge, the all-new epic sci-fi adventure from Eisner-winning co-creator Mike Baron, exploding with Kelsey Shannon's dynamic artwork. Available now at baroncomics.com.
I love at the end of that you see the meteor streak or whatever, and then you hear the the impact.
Thanks, Rex.
Or yeah, I mean that's very effective. The coloring looks awesome. Who's doing the coloring on this?
Kelsey.
Is it Kelsey? How long's he been coloring?
I don't know. It looks like
Yeah.
he's been coloring all his life.
Yeah, and of course he was a Nexus fan from back in the day, wasn't he? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Really, don't you think I mean Steve Rude does something with coloring. It's uniquely Rude, isn't it?
Well, I'm not sure Steve is coloring his own stuff now. He's got a new book out.
Okay.
You can get that at Comic Shots. Let me see who's the colorist here. Well, I think he did color it. I don't know how he does that. I don't know where he has time to do that, but
Yeah.
But he doesn't mention a colorist in here, so I'm going to assume dude did it.
Okay. Can we see that again? If you would. Oh yeah. Okay.
That's a painting, by the way, but he probably painted this in oils.
Yeah, I mean that's next level stuff when you go oils on something like that. Yeah. I normally don't participate in Free Comic Book Day, but I did this year, and it was nice to see people setting up, sort of excited about it, going in for the free comics, looking at comics. It kind of offered me a little bit of hope, that there are comic book readers out there, that are enthusiastic over what I think is a unique American art form, one of the few that you can kind of point to as far as being unique to the kind of American culture.
Oh, I agree. America's
extent.
created three great art forms: movies, jazz, and comics. And I suppose jazz would include rock and roll as well.
Apex Comics says freaking great.
Thank you, Apex.
Yeah, it's like it really does have that big and I even saw like a Silver Surfer type character in the trailer there.
That's Gnosis.
I see you dealing with big themes here, but you start with a simple premise, don't you, and then build from there.
I tried.
Yeah, I mean, is that it? You do the bones, the structure, and then you kind of put the meat and sinew and the nerves and every skin and all. Yeah, you kind of build it up from there, right?
Sometimes
Yeah.
a story will start by I felt I just wanted to write a modern classic noir, a crime story,
Mm-hmm.
and I have written it. It's about a jazz musician who falls in love with the wrong woman, and it takes place in the 60s. And I'm talking with a very great artist about bringing this to life. We'll see. The key, of course, is can we make it pay? I think we can.
You know, you used a word about Kelsey's. I see a piece in this, and even in his coloring, maybe the coloring informs it more than just Kelsey's art style. But I see a little rude in here. You know, I think he's trying to be, because Steve has, you know, been synonymous along with yourself for 4 decades, over 4 decades with this character. I think he's his character, he's remaining true to his own art style while still interjecting sort of the feel of Nexus that's come before.
I agree.
Yeah, he's actually captured some rude. I mean, like the on this face here, just maybe the way the shadows are constructed and things. But you can, you know, one thing like one word that you used was dramatic, like his dry brush work that Kelsey's so good at. That's sort of a new element, like this piece here. That dry brush black.
Right.
That's just, you know, adds a dynamism to it that, you know, that is a little raw, a little grittier than, you know, because Steve's stuff is so, is so clean. Uh, uh, but was, what do you think? What do you think Steve was trying to say with Nexus? I mean, interject that necessarily you didn't put down on the page, especially
Well, I
initially in
think
those
that
early
the
years.
dude is more enamored of Space Ghost
Uh-huh.
and characters, classic characters like that. Uh, and he wants to bring those elements into the story. And you can see that when you look at his new versions of Nexus. I mean, if
Yeah.
you read them, the tone is drastically different from mine. But I will leave it up to you to determine whether he succeeds or not. His book is certainly beautiful. It's only $1.
What do you think Kelsey is bringing to Nexus, new to Nexus, besides
Dynamic
dynamic?
storytelling and his own
Okay.
style. And you see
Yeah.
it in those scenes where there's a spiral staircase
Mhm.
just disappearing down into the dark. I don't think that's nothing dude would do. It's
Yeah.
so simple, yet so effective.
Yeah. Yeah, it's you get to see the difference. I mean, I mean, if there's one artist, you know, in his sort of style, it's got to be Steve Rude, right?
Yes.
So when you work with Kelsey, yeah, you can see the differences. But now I can look at that and see a lot of similarities too. I think he's trying. I mean, do you get that sense that he's trying to be respectful to the material? Of course, I know he
Oh,
is, but
of course he is.
and not mimic, but also interject some of what's come before.
Well, he's being true to himself as well.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I mean, it's undeniably Kelsey.
yeah.
Uh, Rex, I got to
Okay.
go. I want to thank you for having me on.
Well, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Enjoy. Go. I want one last question, Mike, before you go. Are you going to go to any other platforms with this besides Fund My Comic, or is that
We're
it?
also on Indiegogo and Kickstarter.
Okay. All right.
Oh, you just
So,
go to baroncomics.com and you'll see all the platforms we're on.
and like you said, this Scourge is tied in with another campaign that you're going to be running. So this one
Right.
needs
We
to
have
do
to hit
well,
that
right?
next stretch goal. And we're very close. I mean, we're at
Mm-hmm.
$47,000 now. We have to hit 50 in order to be able to offer the Nexus remastered.
Okay. All right. So that's all right. So we need
Yeah,
to
and
hit.
folks, that's not the reason to get the book. The reason to get the book is it's the most exciting story you're going to read all year. I promise you, there are no dull spots. You're going to love it.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank
Appreciate you,
you,
brother.
Rex.
Hell the chat. I guess that's about all. Sorry, Kelsey, you missed your shot to be on the show with me. We'll get him back on. Well, he never came on. you didn't miss anything, Apex. He's like out in the chat saying, did you Shadowhawk, are you going to come in here and say hi to me, or am I just going to be all alone? I may not be. I was ready to shut it down earlier yesterday, but not necessarily today. A lot to unpack there. I think that was that flowed very well with Mike. I was very pleased with that interview. I like an interview that just doesn't focus on the campaign. I think you can find that on other channels. I kind of like to open up the hood to the car, look at the engine and some of the particular parts. And get into the thinking of the person I'm interviewing, and also, what kind of makes him tick, what's kind of brought him to this point, to this project. I think those are important things to keep in mind, to keep things in context with whom you're talking to and the material that you're covering. And I guess that's my last word on it. I'll just say keep collecting. And Apex, or Shadowhawk, rather. See, Apex lives rent free in my head, I guess. Anyway, it was enjoyable. Kelsey, where are you? We love you. You're welcome back. For the first time. Does that even make sense? Sorry, Kelsey couldn't make it. But what? Damn it! What? Didn't you get Melvin 0? Yeah, blown asking. Let's see. Don't end early. Okay. Bring up MikeBarron.com. Pull it up. Okay. All right. I can do that. I think he put it in the private chat. The link to that, BarronComics.com. We can definitely take a look at that. Drop the link in the chat for me. Okay. I think I sent it to you on Instagram. I don't know, but believe I did. Okay. All right. All right. Yeah. All right. Nexus Scourge here. 47,683 backers. So yeah, we're he's closer to that 50,000 with Nexus Scourge than what initially, I believe he's going to get there, so that we can get the early material done. I don't know why that needs that particular amount, but that's what he says he needs. Hey, Shadowhawk.
Well, hey, buddy. What's going on?
What'd you think about the interview with Mike? I thought it went smoothly.
Oh, yeah. Nice as always. And like I said, that's why I thought you didn't send me the link, because you knew you were going to have Mike on for probably the first hour. So, yeah.
I'm sorry. I really thought I had sent it over to Instagram for you.
No, that's why I was just hanging out in chat anyway. With my sound issues and shit, I don't want to annoy Mike and make him leave early. So it's
Right. Well, he's good. I mean, he's equal opportunity, whatever you want to call it. Hey, Apex.
Yeah.
What's up?
Hey, Apex. What's going on, buddy?
Shadow Rex. Good interview. I only caught maybe like more the last half of it, but it's always good to see Mike.
Well, you can always go back and
on replay.
Well, the cool thing with Mike is, we've had him on multiple times, but the interview is a little bit different every time, because he's always he's always working on something,
Yeah. So. It's always fresh.
Yeah, I love Mike, man. That's why
if we're talking about Florida Man, if we're talking about Nexus, we're talking about Bronze Star. I mean, it's he's got so many irons.
So fucking good, man. That thing is.
But I really, as a writer, I try and get into his mind, about how he does it, because he's been doing it for decades.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, who better to get some tips from, right?
Yeah, I mean, I can't say that he was always one of my favorite writers. I have read Mike's stuff, especially in Nexus stuff and Badger stuff, back in the
I
day.
loved his Badger. I loved his Punisher. I never
Yeah.
really read Nexus though. I never really got my hands on any of those.
Kerry says, looking handsome and blue as always, Apex.
Thank you, Kerry.
Yeah, Kerry, you missed the
No, I'm
stream.
jealous. Carrie
We
didn't
did
say
do the
hi to
4
me.
o'clock shadow. It was a brief one yesterday, but you can go back and you can watch that. Tomorrow we're having on Roland, which you have his book, Kerry, by the way. You got your little piggy in the mail. We're having on Roland Mann from Silverline Comics.
Roland Mann.
Very cool.
Roland.
For
Yeah.
the Protectors back in Malibu days from the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we
like
talked with him about that. Yeah, I like him too.
Yeah, his parents don't live
Did
that
you get
far
the 2
away from me.
passes of Operan last time? With what was it? The Visitors and Baya.
I did.
Yeah.
I remember
What's
that that bonus comic. Remember the Protectors bonus comic? It was a 0 issue from the 90s.
Cool.
Had a
From,
like a what do you call it? A lenticular cover. George Perez art.
Wow.
Great.
Yeah, I think I must have missed that one.
You can buy them like cheap at some of these stores. Maybe like
Really?
a couple of bucks or $5. I don't know how much they are now, but
for full lenticular like that, those things are expensive to make.
Like
they are. Yeah.
I think it's a wraparound lenticular George Perez cover on.
Well, you can get the price down on that, but you got to have a big run, And when it comes to indie comics, 2,000, 3,000, it's not a big run.
I've seen those in a dollar bin like a few years back, but now
I'd snap them up every time.
I got 2 copies of it. And I'm like, yeah.
It's almost like the lenticular cover is a stiffer stock, and almost like the Jules Mark Jeweler, variants. That stock kind of helped the book from getting bent. Kind of protected the book. So if I see a lenticular in a dollar bin, I'm buying every damn one of them.
Hell yeah.
No matter what.
Yeah, dude. If I come across those things in a dollar bin, you better bet your ass. I
want the address of where you're shopping.
Yeah.
How many of these you got?
It costs you more than $1 to make that darn book. I don't care how big the print was.
Yeah, it's true.
That's one of the,
and especially like you're saying, Apex, George Perez. I mean, with him just dying last year and everything, those things have got to be going up in value.
Could be. Those Justice League versus Avengers, they've gone up quite a bit.
Oh yeah.
It's great.
I'm gonna say
the old school like Avengers versus X-Men and and all that stuff is climbing again too.
Yeah.
Buy
one you can, kids.
Yeah, right now, hell, dude. Like I said, pre-comic book day. The one comic that really drew me in was one of those reprints. One of the what do they call them now?
Facsimiles.
The facsimile. Yeah, the facsimile X-Men.
I love those.
I forget which number it was, but I was like, that was the only thing. My eye just kept going back to it, and I'm like, I've got the original at home. Why do I keep looking at this?
Right? Do you have John Says X-Men #1 by any chance? I mean, the original.
Oh no, dude! I missed out on that.
I did too. Damn it, I did.
Dude, I was late to the X-Men party. I didn't even know who they were until like a buddy of mine's older brother quit collecting.
Yeah.
And he kicked my buddy all of his comics, right? So my buddy's like, "You want to trade?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude, let's do some trading. What do you got?" And that's the first time I came across the X-Men, and I was like, "I'll take these. These guys are cool."
Let's take a look real quick here at since we had a request to pull this up at the stretch goals of the campaign. 10,000 all backers receive a commemorative Nexus Scourge art card.
Ooh.
So that's already covered, right?
That's already unlocked. Kiss cut, I don't know what that means, vinyl sticker. So they get a sticker Nexus Scourge poster with their order. And also unlocked is digital and physical receive any early preview of Nexus triplets. I think that's what I have here through Splato.
Oh, and I think I figured out what the kiss cut is, Rex. It's
I
instead of
have
being like an
yes.
oval or a square or what have you, it's the one that like follows the outline of the figure.
I received my
Yeah.
book, by the way, at the book I
Static.
won over Free Comic Book Day over
Really?
on Twitter.
Right.
Entered a contest and just had to pay shipping on it.
I lucked
First
out.
appearance of Static Shock, as he's called today.
Yeah, nice. That's going
Yeah.
up. God knows
Yeah, it's
how
pretty
much.
cool that you
That's
won that one.
It's great.
Yeah. I mean, I
I
was in the final 5, and I won it.
I
Out of
lucked
those
out.
5.
I lucked out on Red Valkyrie. I was in the chat, and I think God, was it King Leak? Won an auction. He bought Luke's Death Metal Heroes
Luke
auction.
Aglietta.
Luke's work, and
Yes.
he gifted it to me. I was like, wow, thanks, King Leak. That's awesome. So,
What
Oh,
state
dude,
are
that's
you in,
awesome.
Shadow?
What's
Timothy wants to know
was,
what state. He's out
it
of
was
Chicago.
I'm
yeah.
I'm in Indiana. I'm just over the Chicago border,
Yeah,
Okay.
the Illinois border,
right.
northwest corner of the state.
No, it was a God, the video game piece that one I can't remember the game, but that and like other pieces of art that came with it, and two color sketch cards. I was like,
Awesome, dude. Yeah.
what a
Wow.
bundle. So
What a
thank
guy,
you,
man.
thank you,
That's
King
awesome.
League. Thanks so much, King League, for that.
Hail King Lee.
So I'll
Yeah, I got lucky on the Saturday night auction. Did she do 2 nights this time? I think she
I
did.
think she did one. I can't remember if she did 2 or not.
I can't remember. But anyway, on Saturday night I was streaming with Rex, and I was pretty hammered. And
Yeah, right.
by the time I
Now,
got it the auction,
at
it was just like
$50,000, this is pretty
Jason
wild.
had a piece up.
Yeah.
All backers invited to participate in a live reading and question and answer with the creative team.
Nice.
Oh, that's cool.
That's pretty neat.
Right on, man.
And then 75,000, it says we can't wait to announce this one, and 100,000, it's like just question marks. But that's kind of different, isn't it? To get to participate in a live stream, reading and questions and answers.
Well, that's weird because Mike said earlier if they get to 100,000 that they're going to do the big collected thing, the big graphic novel with all the.
No, it's 50,000, and they're almost there now.
Yeah, they're almost.
Oh, it's 50. Okay, I could have sworn he said 100.
I don't know if this combines all the totals from Indiegogo and Kickstarter and Fund My Comic, but it's up here to 893 backers, 47,683. So they're only less than 3,000 away from reaching that 50,000 to get the origins redone.
Yeah, you're gonna have to look at all 3 different sites because they're not going to tell you what the other site is doing.
That's true.
Well, what I'm saying is that this is MikeBarron.com. Yeah. So
it's probably got.
So it may be combining them all.
Right. Okay. I thought you. Yeah. It looked like you were in Indiegogo because I see the pink little.
I did too.
Here, Indiegogo. This is your preferred. It's just showing you the different, and you could probably click on these, and it'll take you straight to the campaign. See from here.
Indiegogo fund my comic.
So if you want to, monitor all 3 and see how they're doing, you can go over to BarronComics.com and you can see the total and how close they are to 50,000. Yep. When he said 50,000, I'm looking over and Fund My Comic. They had 6,000 something. It's like, woo, got a way to go to get there. But when you combine the Kickstarter and Indiegogo, you can see, they're at the $47,683, 893 backers. Wow, that's great.
Timothy, I'm sorry, dude. I did not see the book arrive. I didn't get any kind of confirmation or anything on my phone or anything, so I don't know. The last package I got was I got another book from Roland at Silverline for some reason. He sent me
rolling.
he sent me a single copy of. Oh, it's not the Visitors. It's Beyond the Stars. I don't remember if I backed it twice or if he just sent me an extra copy. Before that, I got Arcfire from Carrie's friend that she introduced us to, Kevin.
Yes.
I still got to read that one. And then
Yeah, I'd be
today,
interested to see what you think about that one.
I got the Bloodboat Ashcan from Edward Azevedo.
All right, Edwin.
Check out that limited edition signed Shelby Robertson print on the back.
Bam!
Shelby.
Yeah.
There you go.
So, but no, I'm very sorry, Timothy. I don't know what to say.
Melvin.
Well, let's don't say it that way. But yeah. You working tonight?
It's my number 0 issue. It's important to me too, Timothy. I'm used to the mail being slow here where I live. They are notoriously slow, bro.
Slow, bro. Really? You just said slow, bro? Bro?
Slow, bro.
I will show that here in a minute, Carrie. The campaign, see how that's doing.
The art auction.
Before I do that, let's show. Go ahead, Apex. What?
Yeah, Rex Hex Apex Art Auction, May 25th, 8 p.m. on my channel. So, got some good people on there.
Let me go back and look. Maybe one of the girls brought it inside and didn't tell me or something, Timothy. Let me double check.
Don't panic yet, Timothy. Don't panic yet.
Let me double check. My daughter might have brought it in and set it down and forgot to tell me that I got a package that day, so it might be here somewhere. Let me double check.
Okay.
Doc,
my daughter's usually very good about letting me know when I get stuff.
42 backers, $1,510, 60% there, not funded yet. Let's get Doc some eyes on this project.
Yes. Oh, yeah, and then I got Zed Nodi too, Timothy. So that was
nice.
I think that might have come in on the 2nd, actually.
I think this could be Doc's best comics.
Maybe that's.
Yeah, he's got a novel or a novella with.
Yeah.
I can't wait to read that, baby.
Granny with the gun.
Yeah, reminds me of Captain America #1.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, shit.
Yes,
sorry, Timothy.
You got the old crone, and
it does almost sound like, for whatever reason, they're telling you they delivered 0, and I got Zed Nodi instead.
The curio shop.
I don't know. I'll double check, man. I'm sorry. It's the mail here in fucking messed up goddamn Indiana. There's more than corn in Indiana, but not much.
Doc's enthusiasm over.
Well, like you say, Timothy, if he doesn't push it, who will?
Who's going to push it for him?
Yeah, we try and push all comics here that are worthy of pushing.
And don't worry, Timothy, I'll back it again if I have to, just to get you another sale on Amazon or whatever.
There you go.
The price is right anyway, so I don't mind.
If the price is right.
Let me check out Silverline Team Up 1 and 2. Short trailer on this one. We will have Rolling Man on tomorrow. These characters go back. I'm going to have to go in there and get my originals just to show off.
Miss Fury.
Now, see this type of trailer I can play on Choppy Ass Theater, and that's just the way it's done.
That actually works pretty good.
Yeah, that one actually works pretty good. Wow. We'll be taking a look at that tomorrow. The Champion and Fury, Miss Fury, of course. The
Oh, very
demon,
cool.
I believe he's called.
Yes, I'm
He has
familiar
got
with.
like 3 tails. It's interesting. We'll be taking a look at
Mhm.
that tomorrow. It is on Fun My Comic. If you want to check that out, I can drop the link for it. I probably should. Well, if you're interested in Nexus Scourge, it's pinned to the top of the chat. All the pertinent links to find Mike Barron, everything Mike Barron and Kelsey Shannon are down there, hopefully. Silverline team up is 17 backers. They're shooting for 1,000. I know they'll get there. They're 85% there, 852. They have 21 days to go, plenty of time, but you got to, I love this character. I'm glad they've kind of resurrected this character.
Miss Fury,
Huh?
Miss Fury, or the
The
champion?
demon. I think he's
Oh,
called
the
the demon
demon.
or something. Yeah.
I've got a few issues of that. I liked it. I
I
remember
too,
Mitch
yeah.
Bird.
I met somebody back in the day that had original artwork and stuff. I wish I'd had the money really
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
to
oh
buy some of
man,
that stuff. It's still
Demon's
been
cool.
kind of worthless, but
Yeah,
That's all right.
not always
Don't worry.
what you like, but you know, becomes really pop and valuable. My own campaign, Gary wanted me to bring it up, so here it is. No movement, sadly, yet on it, but 57 backers,
Ah,
$3,270. So,
get in there. Come on.
when is Jimmy
Buy
gonna
Abby a meal. Do
get the
something.
cover out?
well, I'm going to be pressing him, he's just finishing up the final pages to Dragon Raid. So, kind of been
Hank is
giving him
almost
time
done.
to do that. I've been kind of just biding my time with
I
that.
know.
You can blame me for that if you wish, but it'll
Nah,
drop here pretty soon. I'm trying to get not only his double page wraparound cover drop, but at the same time we'll make major changes to the campaign. We'll take stuff up there. So if you see something up on the campaign right now that you like, you better get it, because most of that's going to be coming down and new stuff is going to be going up, at that point.
yeah.
And
Yeah, why not?
Oh, you're welcome, Homer Glitch.
I have to get I had knee problems the last I'm fine now, thankfully, but unless there's some kind of something going on there, I don't know, and have another flare up. But that was kind of weird. I rammed my knee into the refrigerator on the 30th, and it only hurt me about 4 or 5 days ago. And then it got so stiff I couldn't hardly use it, couldn't hardly walk, in a way it was very difficult, let's put it that way. Painful to walk.
Yeah.
So, but I'm over that, and I'll be getting some artwork. I've got a lot of artwork that I need to have the printer scan, because I'm working on, like Mike, I'm working on multiple projects. Glenn Fleming's about ready to cut my head off, I think. He's wanting to get down the road on some of these projects, and I just can't move fast enough.
This is page 3 from Enforcer Inc. back in like 1989, but I'm inking over it.
All right. Okay. So you make a copy of that and then over the originals?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, are you using like a card stock for that?
Cardstock is correct. Yes.
Look like a good quality cardstock.
Cardstock. Yes. Can't be.
Well, I'm sorry we didn't get Kelsey in here. I'll go ahead and leave his name up because he, but
in spirit.
Yeah. Maybe that'll draw in some more viewers.
It would, yeah. Where did he go?
All right, I'm out, guys. I guess I'm not going.
All right. Till next time. Ciao for now. Keep collecting.
I don't know if he wants to
or
drop it again, but I will.
Yeah.
Gable Penny Shot in the house. You've been there all the time, Gable, or are you just now coming in?
I guess
what the hell? Because I don't think I've seen him comment till now.
Yeah.
Move faster, Gable says, right?
Faster.
Yeah, faster. Slow. But it'll be interesting to get the old capital city. Just got off work. Okay. Well, I'm glad somebody's working.
Nice.
I'll probably start next week. I mean, mosquitoes aren't bad. It's really determinant on that.
Yeah. This is like the cover for issue number 3. I got 1989. Enforcers Inc. I've done like the first issue and then the third issue, but the second issue is missing in between. I worked sporadically like that in some of these projects. This is what's her name? Gosh, Mammatha. Yeah, she's like a female, mammoth, but Mammatha. And then there's she's got Swiftfoot in her clutches, and the guy in the greens, armor not, the one with the bricks thrown in his face is the giant, and then Tanar, the tiger man.
Interesting. I mean, I like groups. I do like teams and groups. I've always been drawn to that. Avengers, Justice League, Legion of Superheroes. The more characters, the more I'm drawn to it. It seems like
Absolutely.
if they're done well.
But, this is a 14-pager.
Okay. Now, did you say you produced this before too?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know why. I just kind of jumped around back.
Are you going to go back and do 2 and do the
I will
between
do
1 and 3?
I will do that.
Okay.
Yes, I have
There's going to be
44 pages of.
There's going to be an art shift, isn't there? Like I read 1, enjoyed it, and 2 was excellent. Wow, he really leveled up. And then 3 was kind of let down. Because your style's changed, right?
Yes, changed.
Don't do that, folks. Don't follow Apex's.
No, don't do what I just did. No, don't do that.
I can see doing it sort of like something out of continuity, like a 0 issue.
Yeah.
Or something like that, where it doesn't really matter where it fits in, or an annual or something. I would like to bring annuals into the crowdfunding thing,
Dang right.
Annual or something,
Agreed.
And do a little thicker book, because annuals are giant size. Annuals are known to be thicker.
God, I miss it back in like 1974, 75, when they're 50 cents.
I guess Shadowhawk dropped out completely.
Yeah, well, he had to get going. He had some cooking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do some cooking. Yeah.
Stuff.
Take it out of the plastic so we can see it in its glory. Omer Glitch.
I've got another copy of this actually. Where? Oh yeah, it's in the book. Yeah, here it is. This is it. All right, let me take it out. Take this thing out. This is a copy.
All right, be explicit, be specific. Don't say let me take it out, and you're going to scare off some people.
Here it is in its glory.
Is that an original there? Did you like hand color?
Original color. Yeah. We'll back of it.
Okay, so that's the
original color.
The original cover artwork.
That's right.
Yeah.
There she is.
Awesome.
Miss Mammatha and her friends in her clutches.
You can't help but sing, can you?
Cannot help it.
I used to love the annuals and then dip it in water. Helltree Goblin. Shadowhawk says.
Dip it in water so it'll grow.
Right.
Into more pages.
I'm done with this. I can wash it off, rinse it off.
Yeah.
Dust it off with some water.
Dust off it back. Yeah.
Whip it out, rock out with the cork out. Okay. Oh, cock out. I'm sorry. I misread that. Cork.
Glitch. Funny. You guys are funny. Yeah, 14 pages of this.
I think he might have been wanting to see some interior pages.
Oh, you want to see some interior work?
Yeah.
Sure. That was page 1, by the way. This is a cover and page 1. This is this is official page 1. Sorry here. You notice that Ironclad is snatched.
Okay, you're showing original. Do you not have the book there?
I haven't printed the book yet.
You have. Oh, you haven't printed the book. Okay,
I've not printed it.
The original artwork.
I've not printed it up. No.
Okay, so you did like pencil work for this, and now you're inking it.
I'm inking over it exactly, and
You're making a copy, and you're inking over that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Just a little fun little experiment. Like to do.
Let's bring some professionalism to the attempt to sell comics. Glare.
Sure.
Yeah. I know. It's like
Pencils.
I get it. He wants to see and the pencils might be really hard to see, especially in
really
plastic.
hard.
But
Yeah,
I mean,
got ink.
yeah, here's how you sell a book. It's like, hey,
sell my
look
book.
at this. Look at that. Yeah, I'm looking at Glare.
Look at it.
And I only hold it up for about 3 seconds. Did you catch that? I don't know, man. That's what LG does. That's what, and I'm guilty of it myself,
I'm very guilty.
I'm very proud that I'm not calling you Omar anymore, but Omer.
Omer Glitch.
He spelled that out for me, and it's very easy transition for me. Yes, I used the word. I'm taking it back. Transition. Jump the meme there. Because my father's middle name is Homer.
Oh.
Which is Homer, which besides the Greek writer, it's a goofy sounding name, probably to the modern ear. But it is what it is. He's a Ralph Homer. He was Ralph Homer Christian. And so it sticks in my mind. Now I'm only seeing Omer Glitch instead of Omar. I think I might have been saying Omar. I'm not sure.
You were.
I can't remember that back further on that. Short-term memory, long-term memory is fine.
Yes,
it's all good.
That's all right. Exactly.
Buy my book. Buy my book. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, is it worth buying?
Okay, have that.
That's why I kind of wanted to get into the weeds with Mike a little bit, on some of these things, I think it flowed fairly well. And we kind of did Jin Saki, these like, he's talking and yes. And then things occur to me. And then I think I came around back to everything I wanted to say because of what he said. He kind of came back around so I think I got the questions out that I had in mind to tell,
You did.
With Kelsey, I was going to take more a general feel and say my opening question was going to be, why are role models and heroes important in your estimation?
Oh, that's good.
Because our comics are kind of, or like our Herculean heroes and things are kind of role models are kind of hero types, our modern day mythology, right? Omer is in the Bible, and it's a unit of measurement. Yes, of 1 bushel of wheat. Yes, absolutely correct. Dope. Did Rex say bukkake?
Bukkake.
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 I don't know. Whatever.
Bukkake.
I don't know. Bukkake.
You don't want to know what that is.
Whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what I said. From moment to moment, it's just like improv, free flow. I'm all over the place.
Dope.
Yeah, dope. A female deer.
Ray.
Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do.
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 But we will have Roland Mann on there. Interesting to talk to him. Don't want to bring up any sore points, but I'm interested to see how he's doing after the death of his father. His father passed away not too long ago.
Sorry about that. Wow.
His parents do live just a few miles away. I mean, as the crow flies from me. I've never met them, but it was interesting to know that he's got relatives here in Arkansas, close family.
That's cool. Yeah.
1993, first appearance of Static, man. Proud of this thing.
Yeah,
you don't win CGC graded books that often.
No, you do not. You lucked out. That's great.
First appearance of Static, which is Virgil Hawkins is the character's name. It's got a Jimmy Palmiotti ink cover. Ooh. He did the inks on the cover. Apex.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. Peter's brother's really a freaking great inker.
Yeah,
really,
and Peter's been working on his retro.
yes.
I just wish he had a better trailer. I would have been playing it all this time.
Yeah,
You know,
it's like a
but a
20-minute.
12-minute or 13-minute trailer of him talking is that's
Like,
not
sorry,
so good.
sorry, guy. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is John Dillard's birthday.
Oh, happy early birthday, Dillard.
Of course, on Saturday we're doing the Rex Hex and Apex show again. I did one.
Is this going to be
sorta out of
weekly or
order.
what?
Huh?
Is this going to be a weekly thing or what?
Hell no.
I
Not
didn't
if
think
I
it
have
would
to
be.
say anything about it. I wouldn't mind if we took a hiatus and a break from it. It's
Well, we
killing me.
have been.
But
They can't get
we
enough
have
of us.
been. We have missed. We've been kind of inconsistent. But
Yeah.
usually we have watchers for whatever reason. Usually
Yeah.
we have pretty good watches on that.
Absolutely.
Let me go over here and just check the watch hours on the last one that was on my channel, sort of impromptu.
Yeah.
Shadowhawk kind of asked me about it, and
Apex show? We was doing last week.
he implanted that into my head, and
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh shoot!"
You're groggy too. You're very groggy, I think, right?
Probably.
Yeah.
I've streamed a lot since then. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's your drugs. Live streaming. Yeah.
I'm not even seeing the Rex Hex and Apex show. It may got taken down for some reason.
Oh, what? Oh no.
Oh no, here it is. 64 views. We had 64 views on it.
That's pretty good.
Not too bad. Not too bad. Not too shabby.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been averaging, around 50 or more on usually the 4 o'clock shadow, which I know we're not at the most convenient time. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you, everybody.
And I'm going to have to get Jason Orphalis on again, for Octopus Cowboy. I know we had him on about we had him on like 9 days ago, but he was a lot of fun.
It's great.
Over there in the Philippines, he says it's a good time for him, and I do want to push his book.
Yes.
Love Octopus Cowboy.
Can we show the trailer? Let's show the trailer. Oh yeah.
All right. Alex Toth. I kind of covered him recently.
Yeah.
The day he died is the 27th of this month.
Oh, May 27th. Wow.
Yeah.
What year?
Oh God. I don't know. Without looking up.
People in the chat. Shout it out.
You probe so deep that people don't know the answer.
I don't know, Apex. Shut up, Apex. Stop it.
The 21st is Shadowhawk's second anniversary on the show, co-hosting, and we'll be celebrating that with a launch of Rob Ewing's book over on Fun My Comics of Scrappy and Sauce, which I have.
I do have
completed copy of that. I've read it. It's good stuff.
I have his old one. He sent me an old one. It's issue 1. When he sent the Fembat pencils, and I inked over it.
Proof Apex is an alien. Okay.
Right.
From Texas. Deep in the heart of Texas. Things
Texas
are always
alien.
bigger in Texas, they say. Is that true?
Yep.
Yep.
Right, so
now I will be on with K-pop again next month, just to let you know, on the 2nd of June, and that'll be here before you know it. She's a lot of fun. You need to check out K-pop.
We need to have her on Rex X and Apex.
We got multiple dogs, puppies on this month.
Yeah,
on this one.
K-pop seems like a lot of fun.
Timothy Olsen's birthday coming up next month. Darth Fatass. Timothy Olsen and Darth Fatass.
What day
is the same birthday?
What day is
on
it?
the 6th? They had
June?
both of their birthday. And Tree Goblin's birthday is coming up. He's going to be 48 years old.
Oh, the young man.
He's getting to be an old bonsai tree. And my own daughter's birthday, the 13th. And we got Rick from Cross Comics' birthday on the 24th.
Yeah.
And the death of Steve Ditko in 2018, I do know that year on that one,
what
on the 29th.
June 29th? Is that when
Yeah.
he passed? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. He was what, 97? How old was he?
See,
I can't remember.
I don't know. He was in his 90s. Yes, I didn't think he was that old.
2018. So
I didn't think he was that old,
so
but he might.
20. He's born 1927. So he died what, 2018?
So
Right.
do the math. You got the
So
answer.
that's 91. 91. No,
yeah,
wait.
I didn't think he was 97. Yeah.
No, yeah, 91. So he was 91. Yeah.
196.
96. Ready? Hey. 96.
I don't believe you. Aliens love probing. Wow.
I don't know about that.
No. Probing questions. Got it.
Probe.
Okay, I got that. All right, I got that reference.
Let's capture this earthling, and he must be
That
probed.
makes you a catcher. I don't know.
He must be probed. Where are the aliens?
Probe profusely. I asked you this, but I didn't kind of catch the answer. Are you working tonight?
Well, my DoorDash app is kind of malfunctioning for some reason. I don't know why,
okay.
but I've
You had to do
emailed
that
them.
over your phone?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Worked on the phone, and I sent him an email stating that something's wrong with the app. Either update it or something, please, if you would. And so they caught my problem, and I don't know what they're going to do. So hopefully it'll work tonight. So that's what I'll be doing later on.
5,388, 101 backers. Yeah, we got to get him back on. I told him I've been pushing this. I wouldn't do this for every book. I love the trailer, love the material. I mean,
great.
If this trailer doesn't excite you about this project, I don't know what will,
Right.
Great looking artwork on this. It is book 2, not 2. They have a digital tier. Just a wonderful concept. An outrageous concept, really, but done very, it's like Mike Barron was saying, it's a kind of the premise is out there, but they play it as serious, and that kind of helps sell it,
Yeah.
I mean, look at the shows we grew up on. Sort of James Bond, Wild Wild West.
Yes.
That was kind of outrageous, but
it's a good show.
It was a good show. It sold these future things that we know about now.
Yeah.
Put in a historical setting. And so they played it up as not camp, as goofy, but they played it very serious, and it came off really well.
Very dramatic.
Yeah. And was a lot of fun. Was one of my favorite shows.
Yeah, it was.
I was a big James Bond fan anyway.
Yeah, me too.
And I mean, Robert Conrad. I mean, come on.
Yeah, man. So I get some fighting moves. Robert Conrad, keep me away from the bullies. Just punch him in the stomach really hard.
I hope this is as big as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles one of these days. I mean, it's
great.
It just
God bless you.
Shows you can have a top-notch looking.
So good.
When you go to Devil Flyer, I'll be honest, I think it looks a little disjointed because you kind of wonder what's going on there. You see Midnight, you see Modern Day Mummy, you see Devil Flyer, you see Bog, you see it's kind of all over the place. This is sort of a central theme, and it's got its characters, but you kind of know where it's kind of got it all together, and it. I mean, the artwork's superb. I don't see that you can criticize the art that much.
No,
it looks period. There's a lot of research, a lot of work. I mean, golly, go into this.
Oh, and is that a hyena? That's badass.
Yeah, the hyena. Yeah.
Wow.
There's a hyena character,
a gorilla
character, and the octopus's blood sort of gives them an intelligence,
Oh yeah.
changes them. So
Oh
more like him. So
yeah.
it's going to be an interesting book. I mean, it's got an interesting premise. The artwork is killer. Love
Oh,
the
so good.
trailer. And
Yeah.
yet this thing is slogging around because he doesn't get out on many shows and stuff.
Oh,
And
he's
it's
gotta
a
get out.
shame. It just
Mhm.
shows you can have the Mona Lisa in your basement, and if you don't get it out there,
Yeah.
it won't do bank,
He'll end up being a Dorian Gray.
But it won't. It will be a. It won't be. Keep promoting it because I think it's an awesome awesome project.
Yes.
I've yet to read the first one, but I plan on backing this before it closes.
He knows what you're thinking, punk. You're thinking, did he fire 30 shots or 29?
See, he sounds just like you talking to me sometimes, Apex.
Now, to tell you the truth, he's forgotten himself in all this excitement. But being this is the 44th Cold Walker, the most powerful handgun in the West.
Look at that light shimmer.
So good.
No. You gotta ask yourself a question. Do I feel lucky?
Well, not especially.
Well, do you, punk?
I don't even think he got it out of the holster.
No. Annoying human.
He's bad on the shark.
Wow.
Wrestle the
We're
gorilla.
going to have to dance here.
Stomp the hyena.
Yeah.
That was before he had a gun. Most dangerous cephalopod in the West is back.
Yeah. Love it.
Oh my gosh.
Some say he's a rumor. Some say he's just myth. Some think it impossible, and I think such as him could exist.
Yeah.
So good.
He's back to class.
Nice.
Turning the page. Watching it under the slate.
Yes.
Breaks out of his cage. Don't get it
No.
right. Don't get it wrong.
I want to get a recording of this.
He's bigger and better than 20 King Kongs.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
Don't double cross him. Don't do him no wrong. He's an 8-legged gunsling, separate apart.
Love it.
Bye.
He put together a hell of a trailer. I love it.
Did.
And the
This
music's
song could be
awesome.
in the top 10 on a
Shoot, there's my
Yeah,
number
yeah.
one pick.
great.
I love it. The music's awesome.
Billboard top 10 hit.
Coming at you from London town. Music, Circle 60, narrated by yours truly.
Bye.
MC, half
I love it.
infinite.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. If that doesn't get you excited, I don't know what will. I don't want the music to stop. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
Bye. Bye now. over on Indiegogo. Hell yeah.
Nice. Oh, that's so
Yeah.
worth it.
Oh,
That song
man,
itself could be a top 10 hit.
it makes my choppy ass theater look,
Choppy.
like
That's good.
well, choppy. No, that's not what I was trying to say at all, Apex. It does not make it well, it doesn't improve it, but it even makes my choppy ass theater look good.
Look extra good. Yes.
Yeah. Now when I back away here, I see the old Inco, but he arrived, they changed the design for some
What's
reason,
that?
Apex. He's got a mustache and glasses on.
Go blow it up in here. I want to see a little.
He did not.
better.
He was not supposed to have a mustache and
Inco?
glasses on originally.
Is that your character or what? What is that?
No, this is RT Bear's character. Now he didn't do the artwork unless he redrew it, because originally when I purchased these,
that's funny.
They weren't cheap. They were like $40 a shirt, and I bought 2 of them.
Mackerel.
I didn't even buy the book. I bought the T-shirt. I loved it so good. But when it got here, he's got a mustache and glasses on. I'm like, what the hell? That's not really what I bought.
I like that. It's funny. That's
cool.
It
is, but it looks much better without the glasses and the mustache, I think, as a character. And when you kind of back away, you can kind of see it, you don't see the glasses, and you can kind of like maybe the mustache isn't as prominent. He's a cool looking character, Inco.
It's a bit. Was he the cousin of the Monopoly Man? I mean, with the
it does have that Monopoly feel to it, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah.
But I love the shirt, love the character. I think he's a good mascot character.
Right.
I need a good mascot character besides my zigzag character for momentum. But now you could kind of cutesify that and cartoony that up too, and that
zigzag.
Would
you could do that.
Yeah, I'm not really into speedsters. They're okay, but it just goes with momentum.
It's fine.
And I think I have an interesting character in Zigzag, because he kind of zigzags, instead of running straight like the Flash. He's a little bit different. Yeah.
Does that?
Yeah, man, I just love Octopus Cowboy, but there's a project that you would think would be doing bang. I think his first one did 3,000 something. This one's 5,000 something, but and it ended in September, and it's done very little business since then. And I'm like,
well, guys, please share this live stream. Get the word out on Octopus Cowboy if you can. Send Bancroft a message. Send EVS the message. Send
he may have been on Bancroft's. I don't know. I mean, you definitely need to get it out there where you can. I will put the link or the link in the chat there again for people that are interested in Octopus Cowboy. It's a great looking project. You can get a catch up tier. There are add-ons. You don't have to get issue 1. You don't have to get that big bundle that's like $200 and something. You can get add-ons. So once you purchase an issue of 1 or a bundle, you can add 1 onto that. So I was glad to hear that.
That's cool.
He said when he came on. Just checking on Diaz Brothers lost pages, because that's all been delivered or being delivered. Still in demand. I don't know when they're going to take it down. It did $42,859, 576 backers over on Indiegogo. It ended April 19th. So a little under a year. Well,
under a month, actually.
No, a little over a year. Yeah. With that
2023? April 19th, 2023 or 2024?
That's when it ended. Yeah, at 415 backers. Now they've got 576. About a year later.
Okay.
But now, they do the people, they do supplements and things like that also. So it's not just the book. And, but
it's true.
I'm going to try and have, on my projects, everybody shoots for having them complete and done and ready to deliver, but that's right. And I'm not saying that it just takes time, so
yes, it does. You're right.
My next thing may be a lower page count, but
Like a floppy 32 page.
yeah, from 48 pages may go down to 32 pages, and then
I get it.
to get it out faster, and but I'll lower the price on it as
Yeah.
well, and we'll
Oh,
see
yeah.
how that, there's been some that have been very successful with keeping the price down and going the floppy format. For me, I always want a little bit more than a floppy. I want at least 32 pages with a floppy.
Right.
I think you can tell a good story within 32 pages.
Good.
I haven't got my lost pages yet either. Now that I think about it, Apex, are you Dalmatians bad at hide and seek because they always get spotted? Ooh.
Oh,
But I'm Carrie, go back and watch yesterday's. Yesterday's
Ah.
lasted about 19 minutes. It was a short 4 o'clock shadow, but we did do it. I can't believe you missed it, maybe, or didn't get a notification, but we did do it. We were here, and we always seek to entertain and be entertained, while we're doing it. Have fun while we're doing it.
Let us entertain you.
Man, we're coming up Apex on 750. This was 747.
Whoa. That's so. When is that? Friday?
That is Friday. Yes, Friday.
Nice. Wow.
So 750 episodes on Friday.
Nice. Very cool.
Yes.
Very cool. Oh yeah.
So where I have to ask you before we get out of here, where are we at on Fembat?
Well, I working on the MailChimp sign up thing. I've been having a little difficulty, so I'm going to log in there tonight, see what's going on, and get in touch with them, see if they can help me activate it. I have everything ready to go. I try to activate it and it won't show up.
All right, you're gonna have to get with Luke or Jason or Justin rather.
Yeah.
I just want to say Jason. Chrome Dog. They'll gladly help you through that. The way I did it with Luke helped me set that up, and I don't think we went with the MailChimp option. With mine, we just set up something separate. So,
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Even though I had it set up, I've not used it. It's not costing me anything, but I have it set up when I need it, if I ever need it.
So they did their own sign-up page to help you with your sign-up page?
Yeah, we did it separate, and then we linked it to the campaign once the campaign
that's
was
what
up.
I need to do. That's what I need to do. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you need to get with one of them and get, if that's what we're waiting on, because sign up. Is there any particular time you want to launch?
I want to do it.
I think I'm going to stick with, early in the year, around tax time. Because for me, it's like Momentum March, Momentum May. It just kind of makes sense.
Thinking about July or August, possible. But sign up before that. At least a month or two on signups.
Yeah, a sign up. I think sign up's key.
Got that right.
And then also talking about it, showing progress on it, whatever. Now I have an advanced copy of it because we're gonna, I've read Fembat.
56 pages.
6 pages. I was going to say 56, but then my mind said 58.
6.
Yeah, 56. Yeah.
But with the cover, it'll be 60 pages.
Okay, so good beefy run, and so everything's done on it. We just have to get it up and then,
except for the colors. Color. I gotta get Carol to color it.
Yeah, well,
pay her too.
Get her to do 3 or 4 examples.
Yeah,
to put up on the campaign.
Yep,
and that's all you need to initially to get it started. And then with the money from the campaign, you can pay her to color more pages.
That's right.
because that's the thing about covers don't count as pages. Omer
It's
says.
true.
Yeah.
Well, except for this one, except for this piece, Omer. That's it.
Now,
other than that, no, they don't.
What about the cover? Is it colored? Are we using your colors that you did, or are you having it recolored?
I have not cover. I'm gonna have
wraparound.
The main cover's wraparound.
Yeah.
And plan on having Shay, Red Valkyrie, to actually do a variant. I'd like to see what she could do.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you gonna try and launch on her channel like I did, or are you going somewhere else?
You know what? I think I may launch on her channel if they'll have me on. I'm sure they will.
Yeah.
Or
you can launch over here. You're invited.
Launch here. Of course, I'll launch here too, and I'll see if I can contact Bancroft if he'll have me on. But I'll have to have 100 signups for him to actually.
Well, you need to have Carol do 3 or 4 pieces, like I say,
least
to
3
show
pages.
what it.
Yeah,
and you might do them out of order. Some of your more dramatic. Yeah.
Yes. It's out of order.
But that's initially what a lot of people do on campaigns. They'll put up 2 or 3 pages as an example. If it doesn't get funded, then they don't have a lot of time in the project. The good thing is you have yours. If you'll just get it up, and you don't ask for I want $5,000. Look, hopefully you're looking at my campaign. I've not even reached 4,000.
I know, it's crazy.
And it took me a while to get 3,000. So, and I'm on pushing it every day. So
it's an effort.
I would ask for a very modest amount, especially since you already have it produced. And just make sure. The good thing with me, I went through RJ and we kind of priced things out, so I know that the shipping price is going to be right for everybody.
That's good.
Just get it up exactly.
Have you ever thought about just? Yeah. Have you ever thought about coloring it, Rex?
See, if he'd done it earlier in the year, we could have had a 24-hour launch stream. I would have actually been up for that. And one of the few people on YouTube that could have done it, Omer.
Yeah.
I've done 30 hours. And then the next day I did 16 hours. I got sick afterwards.
24-hour launch stream.
I've done it before. Yes. I can do those long streams. And few people can, and with such class and style, I might add. But
there you go.
That's hubris. But that's actually pretty cool. Yeah, 24-hour launch stream. From alpha to Z. From the very beginning. Within But this time of year I can't, unless it's on the weekend.
Yeah,
like maybe a Saturday, so that I can have Sunday to rest up.
How about 24-hour art stream? Has it been done before? It probably has. I'm not sure.
Yes. Okay. In fact, they produced a comic within 24 hours. I had somebody on recently that did that.
Okay. That's been done.
Yeah, people have done that. Yeah, but launch stream, and actually, at first 24 hours is key to kind of tell you where the whole campaign will go from there. You need to be thinking about stretch goals. Just the first 3 maybe to start with. You can always add those later. Some people say you don't need stretch goals till it gets funded.
Well, stretch goals is something to look forward to.
I would at least put the very first one up.
His first 2 of them.
Think about Justin, man. He put them like long apart. He's like,
wow.
He's like, you want to sell some books? Well, I don't know if that's, I mean, I get the stretch goal thing, but I do want to produce some stuff, and I do want people to be able to say, look what I got from Rex, and then just have a whole big photo of like, wow, look at all this stuff.
Momentum universe.
But I get it. Everything costs, everything adds up. Absolutely. I mean, I learned that from the ash can for doing 2 trading cards, 2 magnets and 3 bookmarks. You know,
Amen.
that ain't cheap. I took all my tax money and then some to get things out and get it produced. It gets expensive, you know.
You're right.
And I do want a little bit left over for my next project, you know,
Yes.
to develop it more.
Keep growing.
So, you know, and keep going. You know, I don't want a one and done. You know, but yeah, I'm gonna have to line up some new shows. Hopefully Monday, I will be on with Jason Kreger and Will.
Cool.
And hopefully I don't have to work that night. I know we're probably gonna have a meeting. If we just have a meeting, like I think it, I don't know if he's thinking about sending us out that night. Probably not, but you never know.
All right.
So it's kind of tentative at this point. I think I'll be able to make it. So I'm still trying to get on some more channels. I need to give it more thought, actually.
Yes.
But
just write down the channels. There's so many channels. You might want to expand from just comic book channels to like people talk about pop culture or movies. Kind of throw that in there. Kind of expand your horizon.
I was wanting to get Horror Mike on for some reason.
I'm having Horror Mike on tonight, by the way.
Are you?
I have an unboxing. Yeah, at 8 p.m. on my channel. Horror Mike is coming in.
Well, send me the link.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, send me the link. What time?
8 p.m. Central.
8 Central. Okay.
So,
I'll be looking for that in a couple hours then. Yeah, I wanted to talk to Mike about Roger Corman.
We'll talk about that too. I'll send you a link on that tonight. So catch it on my channel, guys, and in less than 2 hours away. So yeah. All right.
Yeah.
I gotta go.
I guess we better get out of here. Say the magic words, Apex. Hell the
Ciao
chat.
for now. Keep collecting.
Bye.